today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
We're back with episode 43 of Shop Talk. It's Jennifer.
And Carrie.
And we're here to recap 417, which was a very intense episode that brought up ghosts from the past and allowed relationships to shine. And some to kind of be like questionable, I guess, too. There were a few heartbreaking moments for some as well. And then we were hit with the promo for next week. And wow, boy, oh boy, did we get served in like a 15-second clip.
Yeah.
That I feel like we're all just clowning over. I don't know. I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic about it. But I'm also like, you know, I work hard. I deserve this.
Yeah, I literally put up my tweet like right after. I was like, me praying that we don't get clowned. Like, oh my God. Like, yeah. I hope not.
But it's been a busy week in the Rookie universe. Like, there's been a lot of news, and we haven't recorded for 2 weeks, but like all of this news has just dropped like within the last like 5 to 7 days. So yeah. We'll just run right through it because there's quite a bit.
Yeah. So first off, the Rookie's been renewed for season 5. Yay! We are so like I like jaw dropped. Like I was like, oh my God, because they got an early.
It's an early renewal.
I mean, it's not unheard of, but just it doesn't really happen much for networks, and so that means there's more Shop Talk too, guys.
Yeah. So, it's surprising because remember how long we waited last year?
Yeah.
We were like into the middle of May and there was still no news, and we're just like, okay, what's going on? Mm-hmm. I wonder if them having that backdoor pilot in there, like, I would think set so. Up kind of helped.
Probably. I mean, because I would think the numbers would have to be good for them to like, you know, kind of
consider
like
that.
Yeah, like keep bringing on people and to keep, you know, like adding, you know, like guest stars or, you know, whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, so season 5 has been renewed. And then Melissa came back to Cameo this week or last week, which from like March 31st to April 1st. Her and Eric were like both doing cameos, teasing stuff about the end of the season. Chenford, Melissa just being like her cute self, and they were causing so much chaos on the Twitter timeline. It was great. It was great. It was a great way to celebrate season 5. Mm-hmm. And then like we just gifted Melissa cameos to each other, which we did that with Eric's cameos as well. But like it had made our entire Fridays and stripped away any productivity that we had. So we did share like some of them, what we could at least on our personal Twitter pages, and then retweeted them on Shop Talk. So if you haven't seen them, go check them out because Melissa's a cute little bean in them. And I love both of ours.
Yeah. They're just like, I don't know. They're just, I mean, both her and Eric just really, you know, like go above and beyond, like all the time for fans. So
there was one today. I don't remember if you sent it to me or I sent it to you. But she was like quoting Eric because she was like, I don't know, like how to hype up the rest of the season. And she said that they've 1 episode left to film.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Mm-hmm. We're coming up on like the end of them filming, which means like the season finales are not far away. I think I saw someone tweeted that May 15th is like the projected season finale date. Like, should we not have any more hiatuses? So we have like a little over a month left. Mm-hmm. I'm not ready. I don't want it to end.
Yeah. So we literally have gotten so much like behind the scenes content too, like, and it just keeps coming. Like there's that photo of Eric, Melissa, Elena, and Kanoa. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. And the reactions like from that photo of like the four of them were like absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Like someone had like photoshopped the photo so it was like just Melissa and Eric like next to each other saying that they like fixed it. And then like someone had also, oh, I didn't even know this. Someone also apparently cropped it so that it was Kanoa and Eric saying that it was Ford. Their love is built Ford tough. Oh, like that's funny.
This fandom is so
Yeah.
chaotic. Like I
Oh my
literally love it so much. It
That's
gives me the
hilarious.
serotonin that I
Oh
need.
my
That
god.
when I saw that tweet, it was like this is the best
So is
one.
so
This
is that
is
like
better.
is that like a crack ship? Is that what they're called? Or like is that like legit like like I don't know. Because
What
we
if
don't
it was
have
like a
any.
bro TP at some point?
Oh, that'd be, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would be
Wait,
like
no,
an
speaking of
awkward bro
though,
TP though.
yeah. Speaking of though, can we please talk about how the rookie retweeted someone that said Brolin like in their hashtag?
Yes. I saw that.
Like you're the one that's responsible for that. So like
After I saw that, I was like, okay, but did we coin that or did they? And I had just like heard it from someone, but I was like,
we
no, I'm pretty sure that we talked about it first. Like, hey,
literally
rookie
did.
account.
We literally did. Like no, because I just remember it like so vividly that because we were
Yeah.
like talking about it and trying to figure out names like as we were recording.
Yeah.
So
The rookie account and us are like on the same wavelength because like
apparently.
they'll tweet out content and so will we, and it'll have like pretty much the exact same caption. Like, but let's just be besties with them, honestly, at this point. Like,
Yeah.
it needs to happen.
Yeah.
And then didn't the rookie account like tweet and then or like retweet and then unretweet something about like Chenford Endgame or
Yeah,
something?
they had like retweeted
They're just as
Melissa's
chaotic
quote.
as Melissa and Eric. I
Yeah,
love
it
it.
was. So yeah, it was pretty interesting.
And
So
last
many
night they
people.
came for us too because they tweeted the gif of Tim saying, let's dial down the threats. And they were like, the rookie fans when we don't give them enough Chenford content.
Oh right, that's right. Oh my god, I
I was
forgot
like,
about that.
don't look at us. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's too great.
And then we have the 418 episode description for next week. So we already saw the promo. We've all like had breakdowns about it. And they
Yeah.
will continue until next Sunday at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
But the episode description for next week is the episode's called Backstabbers. And it says, after the robbery of a train filled with valuable auction items turns deadly, the team is called to investigate. Meanwhile, Officer Chen has doubts about being Sergeant Bradford's aide and is upset when he doesn't give her the recognition she deserves. Elsewhere, Officer Harper takes matters into her own hands and makes a life-changing decision about her personal life, which we know that she proposes
Right.
to James. And in the episode, guest starring is Greg Gunberg as Larry Badger Macer. Drew Seeley is going to be in there as Frances Bloomfield. Alicia Rulin as Danielle Bloomfield, which Drew and Alicia were both in High School Musical. Well, Drew Seeley was like on the tour that they did.
Like the tour, yeah.
But I think he was also like in one of the High School Musicals as just like a background actor or something.
Oh,
I want to say
maybe.
it was
I
High
don't
School
know.
Musical too. I don't fully
Mhm.
know, but that's fun for the younger side of the millennials or whatever who grew up on High School Musical. And then Brandon, I'm gonna totally butcher his name, Lara Kunte, is guest starring as Thackeray Bloomfield. So
Oh, that's a name. Thacker.
yeah, I don't
Wow,
know.
okay.
Compared to Danielle and Francis, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say that he's from 13 Reasons Why? I don't know him, so
Yeah. Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, he was from that show. Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I know him from.
And then we got that promo. And am I the only one that like put together the name? I was like, oh, so it's called Backstabbers. And Lucy's got like a big open back on her dress. So just like we're just throwing around the word back here. I don't know. I was just like, I'm reaching here. It's totally fine. Like, don't even. But yeah. I saw that you had tweeted like praying for promo pics or whatever. Because we haven't gotten them in a while. And like
for like 4 of the episodes. I'm like, where are they?
I'm like, good Lord, if they come out, like that might be the end of me.
Oh,
But watch,
I'm gonna have
but
to
watch
find
they
them
come
and
out.
post.
Watch they come out though, and like it's just of that robbery of the train.
Probably.
Like
Or
they're
like
not gonna be.
maybe a like James and Wesley, you know, because they were
Yeah.
talking in the promo or something, you know.
Yeah. Oh my God, I loved how in the promo we had like Nyla talking to like Angela. And then it turned around and like James and Wesley were talking. I was like, I love this foursome.
Yeah.
Like parents, I love them. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that promo needs to be broken down more, but I honestly don't know what else I could say about it that's like coherent. Besides, we're getting a Chun for dance, and we know that it's happening because we see it in the promo.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, because there's just no, like, because there's like, you see Bailey and John too, like, they're dancing, like, everyone is dancing. Like, I don't know, because like, part of me is like, well, what if it's just this weird dream? But I'm like, why would someone dream that? Like, what is happening?
No, okay. I literally woke up and I was like, was that a fever dream that I experienced last night? Like, there's no way that that's real. There's just no way.
Yeah, I
And then
was
I went
very
on to Twitter
surprised.
and I saw it and I was like, okay, so it is real. And
Yeah.
then I watched the promo and the full again, and I was like, I'm not believing for a second that all of this is happy and like happens.
Yeah.
I'm not. Like,
Yeah.
I've been burned one too many by promos, specifically by the rookie.
Yeah, and
Because
like
then I watched the season 3 finale promo again, and they had the dance in there, like, hey Chen, save me a dance. And then we never saw that. But
true.
we know that the dance is happening in this one.
Yeah. And I mean, Tim literally says, technically, I still owe you a dance.
Yeah.
So.
But like then with the whole Amber promo last season, like I'm not totally believing everything, but
Yeah,
I want to.
I want to as well.
Especially because like she's supposed to be having doubts about being his aide and is upset when he doesn't give her the recognition. So like it's not going to be all happy-go-lucky in Chedford land.
No. I'm thinking like angst first, and then the dance is like a.
The dance has got to be at like the end. Yeah. But and then so I was texting some other friends about this and they were like, Nyla and James aren't really going to get married, are they? And I was like, I don't know. I could kind of see it because they don't put Nyla through the ringer as much as they do with like Angela, or they did. So I could see them getting married, but I could also see the way that James reacted, him kind of putting a stop to it. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope they do, or like at least stay engaged. Like, I don't know, like they don't have to necessarily get like married right away.
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe they want to do it before the baby comes. Like, I don't really know.
I do love though that she proposed to him. And I think I saw someone else had like tweeted it and they were like, what if Nyla proposes to James? I just think that that's such a boss move from her.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So there's the episode description. Do you want to cover the next news?
So somewhat related to all this like rookie news, our podcast is celebrating 1 year on Friday, so that's exciting.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. And we can't thank you guys enough for like your support. Like every Twitter interaction we have, download we get, follow means like the world. Like it
means so much.
Mind blown.
Yeah. I'm just like, yeah, I'm blown away that it's not, and we just keep growing too. Like, you know, all of our Twitter interactions, you know, everyone who like follows us, we just keep growing. And I'm still just mind blown that everything is happening.
Yeah.
And then the last piece of news, we say it every week, but Eric and Rosalind have been releasing new episodes of their podcast. If you follow both of them on Instagram, you've probably seen that like he surprised her in Puerto Rico for her birthday. I mean, they're just like couples goals.
That was so good. I was
They
like,
really
oh
are.
my gosh.
Yeah.
That was so nice.
And like I think it was the podcast last week, like Eric had posted on Instagram. He was like, I can't believe that we're talking about this, and it was like about him like getting a manicure and pedicure. And
Yeah.
Rosalind was like, it's like you've done this before. And he's like,
Yeah.
no. Oh my gosh, it was too good.
Yeah, like they just like if like one person remembers something and the other is like, no, I don't think so. But
Yeah.
like one of them ends up being right. Like they're just great. Just the back and forth, how they converse is just fantastic. And so
Yeah.
if you guys haven't caught up, go catch up on their episodes as well.
Yes. I mean, even just like their Instagram previews, like because it's just videos of them. It's just hilarious to watch. Like I love watching their dynamic and their reaction, like how they kind of bounce off of each other. But what would you do if you were like in a nail salon and he walked in?
Well, let's see. Considering I do my own nails at home, I would not be in a nail salon.
Same, but like hypothetical.
But I would probably just like, I don't know. I'd forget how to speak, at least somewhat.
Yeah.
And then he's just so pretty. Like I would just stare.
With my luck, I would be like in the middle of like picking out a color and like he walks in or something and I just like lose all train of thought and I just like pick out some like random color and it's just not a good color on me.
Yeah, and it's like beige,
it's like
or
bright
something.
orange. Yeah. That would be my luck. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But we should jump right into the episode because it was a lot. I mean, the hospital takeover case was like, it takes up most of our outline. I don't even know how many pages it is, and I don't really want to like count, but yeah. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. But we open the episode and John is responding to a call, which is a car wreck underneath the bridge. So he meets Riley, who is in shock and shaken up. But she's conscious when she gets there, when he gets there, obviously. So he kind of assesses the situation. There's no kids in the back, like it's just her. And she wants to call her husband. So, Bailey and the fire department then roll up not long after John, and she looks at the injury. She says that it's a catastrophic injury. So then Bailey mentions, that John's going to sit with her. Well, they get the door off. So, John kind of climbs in the passenger seat and Riley starts to look down, but John, just diverts her from doing that. So he wants her to keep talking to him, asking about her husband. And John looks in the back of the car, asks about her kids. And she mentions, there's popsicles melting in the back. And, John makes more small talk and Riley just mentions that, he's a nice man. And she's like, please don't give me a ticket. And then the call takes a turn for the worse because she does not make it. And so then John calls Bailey over and he can't even like get words out. But they share a look. Bailey starts to look for a pulse and asks John if he wants to call it. And so then Bailey asks if Riley is a donor, which she is. So the fire department is going to arrange transport to the hospital. And the next scene that we see was actually the sneak peek that the rookie shared. But it's of John walking into the hospital behind the hospital bed, obviously. And the doctor meets with him asking what they're doing. And it's an honor walk that's done for organ donors, just as a way to show respect. So the doctor asks if John will be around for a while because she has some questions. And I noticed the music played during the scene was like quiet and solemn, but it was like the perfect music for that scene. Mm-hmm. So then, we go over to the district and Angela and Wesley are walking She pulls out some new business cards that she made for him, and it says Wesley Evers, attorney at law. And then, she adds the last part, which is subtext saying total hunk. And I mean, like, it doesn't need to be subtext, but I agree, Angela. Yes, like, he is a total hunk. So then Wesley's like, they're great and I'm thrilled to get my license back, but I have 0 clients and no one's lining up to have a lawyer who was just disciplined by the state bar. And so then Angela's like, well, your client base is a bunch of sleazebacks, so you'll be fine. And Wesley's like, well, the criminal underworld, knows that I turned on Elijah. So I'll be lucky if they let me handle their parking tickets. And Angela just reassures him that he'll find a better brand of clientele. And by that, she means richer ones, because rich people commit a lot of crimes, in her words. And she needs a vacation home. And I just love her because she's like blunt about it. Like,
Yeah.
she's not trying to be funny about it. She's like, mama needs a vacation home.
Yeah.
And then Wesley, sweet little Wesley, is like, oh, I was thinking of getting advertising to, like, obtain some new clients, like on buses and subways that have a sign with my face on it saying best lawyer Evers. And Angela just smiles and she's like, go away. I mean, same Angela. It's cute, Wesley, but no. Also,
Yeah.
does LA have subways?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think they do.
I've never been there, so I was just like, do they? I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I think they do.
I mean, I don't know. People do still like advertise on the side of like Pace buses, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. Like Wesley's face next to best layer Evers. I don't know. I would kind of like to see it.
Yeah. Someone should like make up like a sign or something and like
A
post it
Twitter
on
banner
Twitter.
or something. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
So then we see Tim walk into the hospital and he's met with the father and daughter. And it's shared that the daughter is getting a new heart. And so fun fact, I was thinking about this as the episode was playing. I was like, is that Jeffrey Owens from The Cosby Show? And it is, who you might remember him, but in 2018, he became like a social media story and he was photographed working at Trader Joe's and like was job shamed. And ever since then, like, Tyler Perry kind of brought him back into the acting world and he's gotten jobs since then, obviously, because he's in The Rookie. But yeah, I thought that was him when I saw Piper and her dad. I was like, he looks familiar, but I wasn't totally sure. So we go back over to John, who's watching an employee carry a cooler out. And the doctor comes out to say that that's one of Riley's kidneys that's headed to Oklahoma. And so the doctor says that she's transplanting Riley's heart in the afternoon, but she had some questions to ask first. So she asks, if Riley was conscious when he arrived, if she was making sense when she was talking, and if John had any reason to suspect that she was under the influence of like alcohol or drugs. And John, answers all of the questions, and then Tim comes up and we get our first Brolin moment of the night. Tim just divulges more information about Piper, who's getting Riley's heart. And Tim tells John to like hold on to that silver lining, just because of the call being so like rough. And so then Brolin's like walking through the hospital when the lights go out and alarms go off. And the charge nurse, says that the system is showing that they have patients coding in every room on the floor. And John's like, well, it's got to be a glitch or a short, like something's not right. But then the suspect just comes right up to them and is like, nope, I did it.
Yeah.
At which point I was like, okay, that was like the easiest case that they kind of solved. I mean, they know they're suspect. So then, he's like, no, I've taken over the entire network and backup servers. Because I want my wife to receive Riley's heart. Like, he knew her by name, which was a little creepy to me, but I was like, well, if he did like hack into the network, he probably knows, the paperwork. So, because if she doesn't get the heart, he's going to shut down every system in the hospital and people will start dying. So then Angela shows up and she's like, where is this guy? And we find out that he's cuffed in a conference room while his wife is in the hospital room. Like, she's in pretty bad shape, but she's getting examined. So Angela's like, well, I'm spearheading the investigation. And we find out that alarms were all turned off manually and the hospital has canceled all non-essential procedures. But an evacuation would be like too big of an undertaking. So that's the last resort. And then, like, the cyber crimes unit is working with the head of IT at the hospital to hopefully find a way to force the guy, like, to give this up before anything happens. So we have a bunch of people like working behind the scenes to get all of this taken care of. And Angela's like, Tim, take a run at the husband, see what kind of guy that we're dealing with. And John is supposed to talk to the wife. And as Angela says, use that Midwestern charm to stop her husband from continuing this insanity. And John's like, I'm not from the Midwest, but okay.
I guess. Yeah. Well, Pennsylvania, is that not Midwest enough?
I
No.
think it's more like East Coast.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like, it depends on the map that you're looking at, I think, like with the different regions, because they're all like broken up differently.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. I know sometimes Illinois like isn't considered in the Midwest, but then I'm like, why not? And it's just weird. So John walks into Meredith's room and she's asking when she'll see her husband, and John's just like, well, he's being questioned pending arrest, just like you are, so he won't be coming in. She claims that she didn't know his plan. He just told her to get into the car and that they were going in for a checkup. And so she apologizes for everything that's happening. And it was kind of hard to get like a read on her, but she does seem like a little sorry about this. She also just kind of seems like a little confused, but also sure of what he's doing. So then, John's like, well, you're going to have to do a lot more than say you're sorry, because we have to convince Jonah to stop this. He even tells her that like there's over 800 patients in the hospital, many in critical care. And like, as more time goes by without the proper treatment and resources, like it'll get worse. But she kind of rebuttals and says that she has a rare blood type and she's had cancer. And so that's why she's low on the list for a new heart. So without it, she only has a few weeks left. And John just pleads her again to like tell Jonah to stop. She just looks at him and it's just like, I don't want to die. Like, that's, there's not much more that she could say besides that. But then we cut over to Tim in the room with Jonah. His arms are crossed. This man is standing. He is not having any of this BS. And of course, Jonah's like asking if they're prepping his wife for surgery. Like, his wife is all that Jonah can think about. And Tim's like, nope, they're not going to, like, until you tell me more of what's going on. So then Jonah's like, well, as soon as my wife gets her heart, like, he'll end this. And he says that if anything happens to her, like, because they're wasting his time trying to talk him out of this, and he's just going to fry the whole system and kill the hospital. So Tim's like, let's chill on the threats, and just tells it to him straight. And that all he's done so far is just hack the network and disrupt one alarm system. And basically it's like, if you cooperate now, charges won't be as bad. So then Jonah's like, I don't care what happens to me though. Like, I just care about my wife. She's been my whole life for 30 years. And for the last 2, I've watched her get sicker and sicker because she needs a new heart. And I couldn't help her, but now I can. I am definitely reaching here, but hear me out. Tim's face changed in this moment. And I feel like he kind of knows that he did kind of do something like this for Isabel. But I'm like, okay, so this is something that he would do for Lucy. Not to this extreme though, but he would go to the ends of the earth to protect her. And like, maybe he kind of realized that in some way. Maybe it wasn't like thinking, oh, Lucy, but yeah, I don't know, like his face just changed in that scene. But So then Jonah asks, what time it was, and Tim's like, why? And so, he just has to enter the abort code into the tablet by 10:45. Otherwise, phase 2 of the attack begins and people will really start to get hurt. So then we cut back over to the charge nurse who's working on the computer when it just shuts down and has a lock icon pop up. So all of the computers are locked. There's no access to patient histories, medication schedules, doctor's orders, like nothing. So there's just a lot going on, because then Piper's dad stops Angela and says that, he's hearing rumors that Jonah's trying to take the heart that's supposed to go to Piper. And he just wants to know what's going on. So Angela just kind of gives them the quick rundown about, man's hacked into the hospital computer network, all of that. So then Piper said, it's like, you can't let them, take this heart. And Angela's like, well, it's not up to me. Piper's like, it's not even up to the hospital. Like, by law, the hospital has to give the heart to her. So then Angela's like, well, do you have a lawyer? And Piper's dad says, no, they spent all their money on her care. And Angela's like, I'm not allowed to make referrals, but I just happen to know Mr. Evers has an annoying habit of working for free. And so she pulls out his business card and, gives it to Mr. Scott. And so then, I don't know, when I was watching it the first time, I was like, oh my God, I love her. Not only did she help Wesley secure his first non-criminal client, but she also just like roasted him in the process. And he'll never know that, because this, like, Mr. Scott doesn't know that they're married. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just loved it.
I just like, so that was the business card that literally had Total Hunk on it.
No. So
Different?
the business card never had Total Hunk on it. When she was saying, like,
she was
Wesley
saying,
Evers, attorney at law,
got it.
Total
really
hunk. She was like,
put that on the thing, and I was like, Angela, no.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I think I probably rephrased it wrong too, but yeah, no, she was like, I added the subtext, which was Total Hunk. So yeah, so she just helped her hubby secure his first client, which isn't really benefiting her because they're not getting paid for it, but whatever, it is helping Piper. And so then, Angela's like talking to Gray after she leaves Piper and her dad. And she's given him an update about Jonah, refusing to back down, all of that. So Gray's had no luck with the cyber guys. They've confirmed that Jonah has a stranglehold on the hospital network, which, like, we already knew that. And FEMA's there, and they're talking about setting up a field hospital in the parking lot, but it could take 24 hours, which they don't have. So then Angela's like, well, is there any intel on Jonah that could help us? But he has no criminal history. He's got a master's degree from Cal Poly, ran an IT department for a credit union. Like, this guy is clean. And Angela's like, does he have any family that we can use as leverage? He doesn't have any parents, siblings, or kids. So it's just been him and Meredith. And Gray adds that his coworkers described him as a loner. And his only police contact was a 5150 hold in 2009 after she threatened to leave. So Jonah's wife has his entire world. And I don't know, part of me was like, okay, this dude kind of seems like controlling, like he can't live without her. And then I was also like, well, she's been sick. Like, it kind of makes sense of why he's like this. But yeah, so then Angela and John are talking to the hospital director and doctor, and she just mentions that they're using paper charts for now to still help patients, but almost everything is hooked up to the network: records, pharmacy, even surgical equipment. So then Angela's like, well, how long do you have before you have to make a choice? And the doctor's like, a human heart is only viable for 4 to 6 hours once it's been removed from the donor body. And we've already lost 2 hours. So I'm going to get prepped for surgery because I'm operating on someone today. And it's up to the hospital admin, like, on who gets prepped. So then Wesley comes in and states that he's representing Graham Scott and his daughter Piper. And the hospital director is like, now is not the time to speak. And Wesley's like, well, if the hospital decides to give in to Jonah's demands, like to take the heart away that's been promised to Piper, that's a tantamount for Oregon brokering. Like this guy just, I mean, he is like on it. He is just like boss man right there. So then, he says that if the hospital continues down that path, like he'll have to file a report with the medical board. And the director just stops him. She's like, I have no intention of giving in to Jonah's demands. And, like the lights go off and another alarm sounds, and Wesley's just like, yeah, I'll need that in writing. Which I would want that in writing regardless if those lights and another alarm went off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so everything's down now, vents, cardiac monitors, medicine drips, like the hospital is just like not functioning well. So John's like, well, is there a backup generator? Which there is, but it's not coming on because why, nothing could be perfect in this. So then he walks by a room to see a man. I think he was coding, but like all of the monitors stuff were down. So but he just calls for help, like while starting CPR. Bailey and another paramedic come in and administer oxygen and CPR, but they have to call it. And so we go back over to the hospital director, and she just says Meredith's going to get the heart. They have no choice. And Wesley's like, yeah, you do. I have a call in to the OPTN and the US Health Department. Like, we're going to get this figured out. And she's like, I want to reassure you that I don't feel good about this. But I'm not going to have any more patients die when, I could have done something. So Angela walks up, and Wesley, just kind of tells her that, he'll sue them for a fortune and he'll win, but, Piper will never live to see it. And I feel like in this episode, we definitely got like old Wesley back, like him with his like optimism, and his like go-getter attitude. But then, we see Jonah again, and the hospital director comes in telling him that he won. And so they're prepping Meredith in the OR for surgery now. But obviously Jonah seems happy and relieved, but John's like, this isn't something to be happy about. Someone died because of you. And that's the only reason the hospital is giving in. So then Jonah's like, well, if the hospital had acted sooner, like the person would still be alive. And Tim's like, lose the attitude, you got what you wanted. Well, and he gets uncuffed. So he turns off the alarm and pushes something so that it could it should restore lights in the ICU and OR suites. But the rest of the hospital is still dark because he just wants to like make sure that they come through on their promise. So then, he has to be there for the operation. And like Brolin looks at each other and no one's like, okay, yeah, we'll be there. But he's getting cuffed again. So then as they're walking to the OR, Jonah and Tim are in front of Meredith's bed. Tim's like, Tim says that no one will be with Jonah for every second of the 7-hour surgery. And, Jonah can't speak to the surgery team. And if he makes one move, like he's out there. And Jonah's like, well, why? Or John reminds them that, he's putting these doctors under great amount of distress and, essentially holding the hospital hostage. And then we see Graham Scott just like charge at Meredith's bed with a fire extinguisher. And, no one like gets him to drop it and arrest him. But, when asked what he was thinking, he says, if she dies, my daughter doesn't. And so then the next time that we see, Jonah and John, they're in the viewing room of the OR. John's like, bring the rest of the hospital back online. And Jonah just, this guy does not let up. He's like, no, that's not how this works. The doctor puts him in line and, saying that his strong arm tactics like are helping no one. So then Jonah's like, what will happen to Graham? And John's like, he'll be charged with assault, probably go to prison, and his daughter will probably die while he's, locked up. So then no one's, just like, does that make you happy? And Jonah, Jonah doesn't even like hesitate here. He's just like, my wife's getting a second chance of that she really deserves, and that's what I care about. So then Jonah starts to get impatient, asking where the heart is, when it's coming, all of that. And the doctor is just like, it won't come until your wife is fully prepped and anesthetized. And so then John tells Meredith that there's someone else that she should talk to. And so, he shows Piper on FaceTime. Jonah tries to like step in here and prevent him from letting Piper and Meredith talk. But Meredith's like, that's the least that I could do is listen to Piper. So then, like Piper connects with her on the fear that she's been living with, how she's scared, like all of that. In ways that no one else could really connect, unless you were like going through all of that. So then Piper says like she forgives Meredith for what she's doing. Jonah steps in again and he's like, don't listen to her. And Meredith says that she can't do this and tells them, to stop what they're doing. So it's a really heartfelt moment because Jonah like says that he doesn't want to lose her, and Meredith can't even like look at him. And like John tells Jonah that it's over, and he needs to turn off the ransomware so that no one else dies today. So Jonah goes to turn it off, and he can't get in. His partners apparently locked him out. And he's like, they used me to get paid. So Brolin's taking Jonah to a shop for so that they can take him back to the district for the murder charge. And they need to know who he's working with to end this in time to like save Meredith and get Piper the heart. And then that way Jonah also doesn't have 2 murder charges on him. So then like they say that if Jonah cooperates, it's possible he could get out on bail and spend time with Meredith. So he gives them the names Spencer Merkel and Chloe Speaker, who he met online. They offered him money to build some ransomware, and then like he had all of this medical debt, so he thought it would be a good idea. But it turns out that Spencer and Chloe were actually the ones who suggested hacking the hospital. And he thought that it was like to help Meredith and him, but clearly they were just a means to an end. So then he's like, I don't know where you could find Chloe and Spencer, but the police tech team could trace the messages. So they arrive to an empty house, and Tim's like, they can't run a cyber attack on from a laptop. Like there is nothing in this house. So they go out in the backyard. No one finds like a bundle of cords hidden like under some branches, and it leads them down to a shipping container, which they open, and it is like they're working back to back. And they catch Spencer and Chloe, and in the middle of operating all this ransomware. And they say that one of them can disable the ransomware and make a deal, and the other can spend a couple of decades in prison. And we just see one of them raise their hand and kind of say like, I'll blab. So then at the end of the episode, we find out that Piper's surgery was successful. The DA's office is probably not going to press charges against Graham Scott, and even if they did, no jury in the world would convict him. And then we also get an update on Meredith, and she's on her way to hospice care, but sadly doesn't have much time left. And then this next part was just very cringe. Like we did not need a single part of it. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't have a problem with Malin. They're kind of cute.
Yeah.
But like this part,
it was
just
awkward.
all of it.
And it wasn't even like just John making it awkward.
Yeah.
Like I was awkward when Bailey was talking to, or I
was
feel the awkward.
Like I don't get like weirded out or awkward. Like I don't know when like fictional ships have like sexy time or anything. I don't get awkward with that. Yeah. But this, I was like, this is cringy, and this just it needs to stop. And it just kept going, and I was like, what am I watching? Like this is just weird. So then Bailey's like, a cold glass of wine and a hot bath is a great way to end a hard day. And Nolan's like, I've never really been a bath guy, but if I take it with you, it's different. And I'm just like, oh my God, no. Like, oh, I can't make it stop. Make it stop. And then Nolan's like, but I'd be happy to reward all of your hard work with quality naked time as soon as you scrub those pits. And I was like, oh my God, this
I
is
cannot
cringe
believe you.
times 10,000.
I cannot believe you got all that out without dying. I could not do it.
At which point I think I texted our friend Lauren and I was like, Lauren, you might like the end of that episode because
Oh, that's what you were referring to. Oh my
Lauren
God.
loves she loves Nathan and I just like give her crap because I'm like, so you just like love John Nolan too? And she had said something like last week and she was like, I can't even joke about it now because it's too bad. But yeah, so I am
Lauren, we love
officially
you.
yeah, I love Lauren. And I also just like love giving her crap on that.
It's too funny.
But yeah, officially, like, and I was just glad at that point that they like didn't cut to that, you know, Balin
Yeah.
like in the bath or anything. I was like, no, I don't need to see that. I've heard and seen enough, so we're good.
I wish they would have ended on like Nyla and James.
I know.
Like,
I know.
I kind of thought they were, and then I was like, oh, okay, hi.
I
Bailey
loved your
John.
tweet though. I don't remember if it was on your personal or on the Shop Talk Twitter. You were like, I'm still waiting for Balin to have a normal date.
Oh yeah, I tweeted that on Shop Talk. Yeah, I was like, they're kind of fun, but I'm still waiting.
Which I mean, like next week they're gonna be at wedding number 2 for like his coworker.
They didn't really like get. I mean, they had like their first official date, sort of, in the season 3 finale, but that
Yeah,
it didn't actually, like
it didn't go
happened,
well.
but not really. Yeah, it was kind of, like messed up by everything. So like, maybe this can be their first like normal, like
Yeah,
non-mishap ridden date.
yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I hope like if they can't have dates like out, going out to dinner or whatever, that they can at least have some quality time, where they can do all of that bath stuff. I don't even know. I'm just gonna stop because this is just too cringy and awkward. And I honestly can't believe that happened last night. And then we went right into that promo and it was like, wait a minute, what are we doing right now? Yeah. So that's the hospital takeover and whatever that was with Balin and Tim and we got a little bit of Lopez and we got like all of our ships in this episode. Well, minus a big one, but that's coming next week. So
they're making up for it.
yeah.
So.
I mean, even the rookie account was like, us when we don't deliver Chenford. So
Yep. So next up we have Lucy and the trial prep. I liked that it started out with like Tamara making breakfast for Lucy. That was so cute.
Kind of a parallel to Tim making breakfast for Ashley. Like they were making breakfast for people they
care about.
Yeah. But like also Tim should be making breakfast for Tamara and Lucy. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And it was a Pop-Tart egg sandwich, which was seen on Clip Talk. So, and Lucy tried some and was like, it's a unique experience. And I was like, that sounds about right. And when she asks what all the fuss was about, Tamara says she just wants today to go well for Lucy. She's kind of questioning like why it's necessary for Lucy to have to retell her like what happened to her in 210 and 211 for them to slap a few more charges on Rosalind Dyer. I suppose I should have prefaced with the previously on the rookie, they showed flashbacks to 210 and 211 in the preview. Wow. Yeah, I should have prefaced with that. So that is why we're like talking about this. My jaw was like on the floor though when they did that previously on the rookie, and it was just like they flipped back to season 2. I was like, whoa now, like what is going on? Like I did not expect it at all, really. Like I thought they were done with Rosalind after 301.
And there was like talk about her like coming back, wasn't there? Like
There was like
something
a
was
rumor
leaked.
because like
Yeah.
Annie had posted I'm assuming an old video, but yeah, people kind of thought like, oh, is she coming back?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I didn't expect them to bring it back up. I was
no, I
like,
didn't either.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, like I really just didn't I just didn't expect any of this. Like I was so like thrown for a loop with this storyline. But so anyway, so Tamara doesn't really understand like why she has to go do that, but Lucy tells her that it's important that Rosalind's held accountable for every crime she committed since most of the victims are unfortunately deceased. So Tamara's like, okay, well, I'm gonna bring all the snacks and have all the puppy videos ready for when you're done there. And she's like going with Lucy to support her, which is really, really nice. And so they arrive at the DA's office. Lucy says she's gonna like go to the restroom real quick. That's where she first begins to have flashbacks about Caleb and being buried alive in the barrel. Poor Lucy. I just like I hesitate to say I love flashbacks because I do not like seeing flashbacks of trauma. But like I like the way that they did it was very like I don't know, like well executed, I guess is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. And like it helped propel the story forward, I think, for Lucy to kind of have a little bit of this like struggle
Mhm.
with it. Yeah. So I think it made sense. Tamara meets a college intern named Austin who apparently is single-handedly saving the world. They were cute. Like
They were.
can he come back? Like, is that a
They
thing?
were so cute.
Can
The
I make
rookie
that a
account was
thing?
liking all of my tweets about Tamara last night. Like, because I had said something about Tamara's so cute and like Tamara, go get your man
Yeah.
or something. And the rookie was
Mhm.
like retweeting and liking all
Yeah.
of my tweets. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
give Tamara all of the love.
Yes, exactly. So it kind of cuts back over. Apparently Chris is gonna do Lucy's trial prep because Sarah is out sick. And Lucy's like, no, it'll be fine. They're professionals. Cuts away, come back. Chris is questioning Lucy, asking if she'd ever heard Rosalind talk to Caleb on the phone or if it seemed like they had been communicating. Lucy tells him that Rosalind told her when she went to visit her in prison that like they had communicated. And Rosalind repeated the song she sang back to her as well. So like how else would she know that unless she and Caleb were communicating? Like that's what Lucy's kind of throwing back at Chris. And so as he's kind of trying to explain more flashbacks are taking over Lucy's mind. And so she kind of, when she comes out of it, Chris suggests that they have a coffee break. And then like Austin and Tamar are like raiding the food table in the like break room area, I guess. This next scene really like it was like emotional watching it, and I did not expect it. And I didn't understand because there were unfortunately some spoilers going around on Twitter.
Yeah.
Um,
Not like very
no,
descriptive
not
ones.
like
They were very
yeah,
vague, but
yeah.
yeah.
But still, it was like I was just like I was not expecting this. Because as you guys know, Chris is making the coffee when he begins to kind of sing the "Dream a Little Dream" song, and like it cuts over to Lucy, and she is like just like in total shock that this is happening right now. And Chris, I mean, he realizes his very, very grave error and said that it was like thoughtless and stupid and like he is very, very sorry. He just kind of claims that it was stuck in his head. And Lucy's kind of like processing that and talking aloud, and she's like, the song was stuck in your head because you've seen the video. And so like she kind of like gets emotional, understandably so. And Chris is still trying to say like he's sorry, but Lucy like needs a minute. So she's kind of like, I need a minute, like he needs to not be here. So he clears out. And so it cuts back over like later on. Lucy comes in to I'm assuming the room where they were first like question or having the trial prep. And Chris is there. She asks him to let her see the video. But she needs to like be alone while she watches it. So she sits down, she plays the video. We hear her singing the song. I don't know how to explain this, like, because like actors, like, you know, like sometimes they don't like watching themselves like on their shows or something. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know, like, you know, because like Melissa's like sitting there like watching herself from like 2 years ago. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's like
meta,
whoa.
but not
Yeah.
meta. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, like I was like kind of just like thinking about that. But yeah, so
And the way that her hand was shaking, like
Mhm.
before. I mean, my
Yeah.
my hand was shaking. Just
My
going
hand was
through all
like
of this.
clasped over my mouth. Like I was not tweeting anything. I was not moving. I was so like just like I don't know, just fully like I was just blown away by like this acting work that
Yeah.
she is doing in this scene. I also kind of noticed, I don't know if it was intentional or not. Like in the video, Lucy like comes up and puts a hand like kind of above her eyebrow, like on her forehead, and then like Lucy watching the video like did that same motion like
Oh.
at the same time as she's getting emotional watching it. And so later Tamara worries because like Lucy's been in that room for a long time, and so they go to check on her. They being like Chris goes with Tamara. She lets them come in, and she said, you know, she's been processing some things because she watched every minute of that video.
Mm-hmm.
And Tamara suggests that they go home. She agrees. She kind of looks over at Chris though and is like, I've decided not to testify. She feels like that I can't speak. Since she survived that, she doesn't have anything like left to prove. Because she was like, you know, trying to be this strong person, but she doesn't have like I feel like that was like a moment for her, like that weight was kind of lifted
Mm-hmm.
off her shoulders a little bit. And I love that Tamara gives Lucy like a hug. That was nice. And Chris promises that they have plenty of evidence, so they'll be able to like make the case without her testimony. I thought this was funny, like, because Tamara and Lucy are heading out, and Chris is kind of like lagging behind, like finishing something up or whatever. And Tamara's gonna cook Lucy dinner, and it's gonna be another Clip Talk recipe. And Tamara was like, "Well, you cleaned the plate last time," and then like Lucy kind of looked back at Chris and was like, "Like, no, don't say that." Like, I thought that was funny. And so Lucy, well, they run into Austin as they're walking out. Lucy kind of plays wing woman for Tamara, saying how she wanted to check out like restaurants around there, and Austin suggests a place to go. And Tamara asks if she'll be okay, and she's like, yeah, go. And Chris says that he will make Lucy dinner. And so they like Tamara and Austin go off. And Lucy turns to Chris and she's like, "You cook?" And he's like, "God, no. We gonna eat out or order in?" And I was like, "Okay." Like, that's a no. I think the Rookie Rewatch account did a Like, so Chris
Comparison.
doesn't cook.
Yeah.
But you know who does cook? Tim.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
Tim.
it's very clever. It's very
Mhm.
clever.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
He
Lucy,
cooks
like,
breakfast for his dog. But yeah, he
yeah.
still cooks. So
Yeah, it's still fit, like food is
yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Lucy's like, okay, fine, but you're gonna have to like rub my feet if they order in. And he jokes that like he can do that at the restaurant, and she's like, oh my god, no, that's gross. Like, do I really have to explain this to you? And they're just like joking back and forth with each other. So it like as they're getting into the elevator, there's smiles on their faces. So it seems like their like banter is like back, and
Mhm.
they're kind of back to being regular Chris, Jen. So
Yeah. I mean, what Chris did, like people were talking about it. They were like, I don't know how Lucy
yeah,
can take him back, but I don't know. I
yeah,
was chalking it up to she's just awkward around him, and like I don't know, she's probably just figuring it out. Like she
yeah,
couldn't even like call him her boyfriend a few episodes ago. Like I doubt that she's gonna bring it up and be like, why are you singing that? But I don't know.
yeah.
That dance will change things, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, it was just so interesting because like we have Lucy that's so like psychology, like driven and like knows all these things, like processing this like trauma and then having this like new personal connection with it because like Chris is the one that's like talking this through with her. I feel like that kind of like, how do I put this? Because there's like literally in psychology, there's like you have like a like rational mind, and then like there's your emotional mind, and then somewhere in the middle there is supposed to be your wise mind, like the part that you kind of come to a conclusion about things. And so I feel like since Lucy's like mind was kind of, she had this like logical approach to trying to deal with this like trauma, but then she has this emotional part because it's like Chris is there like with her. It's like she doesn't really know, like the two sides are not meeting in the middle for her, I think. And so I think she's like not, I don't know, because like I was just very surprised that she didn't at least confront him a little bit. But like I
Yeah.
said, I don't really think that her mind was able to like comprehend that like he had actually done that, and like what that did to her, because she's obviously very upset by it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so many things. I was just so mad that Chris did that. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, I tweeted from the shop talk we had, I was just saying like I figured he should know better. Um, but I mean, he is human. I mean, just oh my gosh. Like I just was not expecting it. It was, I don't know, because we don't really know that much about Chris, so I can't
Yeah.
say if it's out of character for him or not.
Right.
We don't really know. Um, yeah, because
Also, what was up with the cringy endings? Like this one was kind of cringy too, with the whole like
yeah,
foot rub thing and like,
mhm.
oh, I could do it at the restaurant. No, it
Yeah,
wasn't as
no,
cringy as Balin, but it was kind
mhm.
of cringy.
Yeah,
Like Tim
hmm
would never. Tim would never be like, oh well, I could rub your feet at a restaurant. No, no.
yeah,
That man knows, like, no.
yeah. Yeah, I hope. I mean, obviously, we know. I think Chris is coming back, right, in a later episode. I think, um, possibly, probably
Yeah,
with
because he
Eric's
was
photo
in that
that they
picture.
posted.
So
Yeah. Um, so I just hope that like I don't know. I think it's bothering me because they originally disagreed on like whether or not to prosecute someone based on like a mental health or like a like mental health like reason.
mhm.
um and so I just feel like since Lucy's so like opinionated like about that area, I just would think that she would have said something, but maybe, like I said, I'm sure it was a lot. I mean, it was a lot to like watch. That had to have been hard for her. But bravo to Melissa and Dylan and Kanoa and everyone. Like they did those scenes very, very well.
I did think that it was so now that you mentioned like how they first met, everything like around their interactions has been regarding mental health, and that's when they like disagree.
Yeah.
Because you could even argue that like her being in the barrel in that video was kind of the catalyst to her. I mean, it was the catalyst to her like struggling like mentally.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's definitely like that's disagreement in their relationship, I feel like.
Yeah. And it just, I don't know, it just doesn't, yeah, I don't know. Just because, like Lucy's called other people out on their like wrong actions, but it is different when it is so personal. Yeah, I don't know. I just hope, I'm just gonna focus on the Chenford dance next week. Because I just feel like I'm going in circles. It bugged me, but it was very well acted.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I also thought it was interesting that they were bringing in Austin to like, I don't know. I got the idea to potentially be a love interest for Tamara, but like, she's not a regular on the show. So I was like, are we going to up her to regular? Because if so,
please,
we can definitely have Austin. I don't know. I was just like, maybe it was just like so that she wasn't just standing around there just waiting for Lucy all day and we'll never see him again. But
see, but now Tamara Dylan as a regular on the Rookie when.
Yes.
That's my next request. Or like, what is it that we did? Wish list or manifestation, whatever it was.
Yes, a wish list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was kind of the end for Lucy and the trial prep and all the Christian moments. Nyla and James were like, I was glad to see that they got more screen time this episode.
Yeah.
Like, it was nice.
I thought that there could have been more for them being in the hospital with all that going on, but it did also feel like there was a lot going on. Like, I saw someone tweet that the kidnapping case could have been its own separate episode.
Yeah.
The hospital thing could have been their own separate episode. And then, like, maybe even the Nyla stuff be in either the kidnapping episode or in the trial stuff or in the hospital, but there was just a lot going on.
Yeah, there was. So Nyla's putting sheets down on her hospital bed, and James is like, "You're the only one I know that would bring their own sheets to a hospital." And she's like, "Well, since we're going to be waiting here all day, we might as well do it in style." We find out that James doesn't like hospitals, and he like apparently never has, because apparently he hasn't had a physical in 6 years either. Nyla's there because she had a little bit of like bleeding in the morning, and so she needs to get like tests done and everything check out. I thought that like when the doctor came in, right, because it cuts away from them, comes back, when the doctor came in and was like mistook Lila for this like Mr. Johnson person, and because he didn't really look up, but even when he did look up, like the woman is sitting down, in
the bed. It's not like it was James sitting in the bed.
No, it's not. And oh my gosh. And then just like Makia's delivery of like one-liners is just great, because she's like, better the system than my prostate. Like, oh my God. Just, yeah. Nyla just doesn't care. Like, she's gonna tell you what she thinks, and you can tell how she's feeling.
Makia has like the best comedic timing. Like, I don't know if all of those lines are written or if it's just like kind of ad-libbed or both, but it's like the best comedic timing.
Yeah. It's pretty fantastic. So later, a nurse brings in a young boy named Rory, and since like Nyla and James have this private room, she kind of asks if they can watch him while they contact the boy's parents. And I just thought it was so funny because, like, wow, I'm gonna sound really old when I say this. Maybe not. But you know, because like kids are always on their phones nowadays, you know, or like just always so into technology. And I mean, I'm pretty bad at it too, even still.
Yeah.
Just like when I was that age, I was like outside playing,
Yeah.
or like, you know, like I wasn't
You weren't
fully,
on technology all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, anyway, so sorry, back to present day. This kid is like already pulling out his video game and just goes right to work and playing it. He could really care less, as Nyla tried to introduce herself and James. And James is like, there's nothing wrong with video games. And Nyla definitely doesn't want that attitude when it comes to like their child and potential video game usage, I guess. And I thought it was funny, like the and you like video games a little too much. Like that line was good too. And just like it's just kind of interesting how like the storyline it kind of like weaved itself into their, you know, like upcoming parenthood
Mhm.
kind of, you know, because they're like watching this kid. Anyway, so the parents come in, and Nyla explains the severity of his possible head injury, but the parents don't want him to stay in the hospital because it's against their beliefs, apparently. Um, and Nyla's like, I don't think you understand. Like, he could have a possible, you know, like fracture, concussion, like, and then even the doctor comes in and tries to tell the parents the same thing, but they still want to leave and take Rory with them.
Mhm.
James and I like try to reason with him. And another badass move by Nyla Harper, because I think it was the dad, I think was like telling James, like, oh, well, you can't do anything. And I was like, but I can.
Yeah.
And just steps right in front of them, showing her badge and that, you know, she can put Roy under protective custody. And if the parents try to interfere, she also has the authority to put them into custody too. So that's that. And Nyla took care of business and that was great. Like,
She
I
just
didn't,
gave all of the boss moves
yeah,
in the episode.
seriously. Yeah. I didn't I didn't like that like Nyla and James kind of like had a disagreement though about it later. Like that wasn't fun. Because like Nyla knew that like James thought that she crossed the line by
Mhm.
using her badge. Um, because as he told her, like the law has a history of separating families. But Nyla's not sorry for protecting the kid. And James says like cops will justify their actions in any way that they can. That kind of reminded me of a Lopez fight. I don't know what season it was now. Um, where like no, it was season one. Like when Wesley was brought into the station and Angela was like sitting down and like gonna like talk to him or whatever, and then they talk
Oh
about
yeah.
the case, and he's like, "Cops like you," and then she's like, "Cops like me," and then she got mad and walked away.
Yeah.
So that's just what it kind of reminded me of.
And
Um,
Wesley or James and Nyla kind of parallel Wesley and Angela in a way. Like because James does like pro bono work for his community. She's a
Mhm.
cop. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
cool.
So it's kind of fun that they're like that foursome is like becoming closer.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, and so they're kind of interrupted. Greg calls saying that there's no record of the parents having a kid or like adopting one like in their system. And there's not a social security number or birth certificate on file for Rory either. So, conclusion, these people are not his parents. I liked that there was still gray. I was worried that since he was like hurt, a couple episodes ago, that like it wouldn't like, I don't know. I'm glad that he's like still, it's all normal, and like he's doing all the things,
Yeah.
because he's the one that goes to make the arrest of the kidnapper, I guess.
Oh my God,
they're
when they were like, we were gonna come back to the hospital for him, he was like, sure you were. Like,
yeah, like he
just
had no time
no
for
time.
that.
Yeah.
He was just like, like, no. Yeah, and so the end scene for them, Nyla, Rory, and James are sitting in the hospital still. And Nyla explains to him that he can't go home because those people weren't his parents and that he was kidnapped when he was 3. His real name is Scott Reynolds, and his parents are actually named Gerald and Dorothy. And I thought it was nice that like Nyla showed him a picture. Like that was nice. And Nyla and James said that they will wait with him until his real parents get there. Again, it could have ended with that moment for the episode, but no,
It ended with cringy Balin.
Yeah, it was awkward. It was awkward. But yeah, so that was, like I said, I enjoyed that they got screen time. They're definitely getting screen time next week too, so I'm here for that.
Yes. Yeah, so we had a couple of listener thoughts. And Martha had said, I appreciate the fact that we got to revisit Dave Death again and to see that Lucy's trauma isn't washed over. I understand that past events can't always be brought up with characters, but it's good to acknowledge it here and there. I'm one of those people who isn't really a fan of Chris and hasn't gotten over Lucy in his first meeting. So what he did last night didn't really help him for me. I don't mind him or hate him though. I do wish there could have been more screen time with Nyla and James, especially with what's happening in the next episode. As far as the overall plot of this episode, I did enjoy it and the rationales of morality, but I do wish there was a little bit more complexity to the storyline. Happy to see a new episode after weeks of withdrawal. Same. Like,
Yeah.
it just felt good to have them back.
Yeah, lots of good points are made because like it was definitely like a less like a teaching in like morality and like
Yeah.
So Mindy said it was a good episode. She loved getting to see Wesley as a lawyer again, and asks if we can get more of seeing him fight for his clients. I would like to see that, like Wesley, like just going to bat for his clients. That would be she thinks Chris's days are numbered, but Lucy handled everything extremely well. Yes, she did. Chris's days are numbered. That's cracking me up a little bit.
I mean, Lucy, I feel like she's also kind of a little bit of an overthinker, and I feel like she's probably like spinning her wheels in her head, like after all of that with Chris, and then that's why maybe she was just like, well, to make it less awkward, like I'm still just gonna like go out to dinner with him or whatever. But like it's probably like eating her away inside. Like, what do I do? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she tries to be like gracious about it because that's like her nature, but yeah, like you said, it's probably affecting her.
I mean, I know that other people were like, it's weird that Tim's not there and stuff, and it was, but I also feel like he's sergeant, like he can't just like take off days, but even then that's like a pretty big day to be there, especially because he was the one that like found her, Yeah.
I mean, I think like Tim could have been there, because like he was the only other person that really had like that like super personal connection to the case, but like I don't know. Like people were kind of going back and forth about that too, because like it was kind of more about like Lucy just really like kind of going through all the stages of like processing it and like, getting a handle on how she feels about her past trauma now. So I think that was like, it was nice to see. I mean, I was just glad for Lucy and Tamara scenes too. And then I don't know, like I didn't mind Chenford being a part in this episode, but I also was probably like the only person on planet Earth that actually didn't know that there was going to be like Chenford like in the next episode. Like I don't know where I was.
I was gonna say I sent you the episode description.
I know you did. I know. And I read it and then I was like, okay, like a little bit. I'm thinking like one conversation and the promo comes out and it's like dance and I'm like, oh my God.
I know. Well, I had seen stuff about this episode and people were like, I thought this was supposed to be a Chenford episode. And I was like, what? I never thought that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm just like the promo's too good to be true. That's just how I feel. Like there's just too much happiness and I just feel, but maybe, I mean, the rookie is better with happiness. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Emily from the rookie rewatch count had said the amount of times I've watched the promo before actually shutting my eyes is embarrassing. Girl, same. I mean, I was supposed to like work on some of the podcast stuff last night after the episode, and I was like, "Hold, please, I'm watching the promo." Like, just a dozen
I
more
was
times.
I was like getting the promo so we could post it, and I was like, "Hey, let me watch this like a couple times first."
Yeah.
So.
Well, and like we have other friends in like multiple group chats that watch the rookie too, but a lot of them are like on the East Coast, and so they were already like in bed or just didn't watch it. So I'm like, okay, you don't even need to watch the episode to watch this promo. I sent them the promo and I was like, I need you guys to watch it like right now because I need to scream about it. And I was just like, I kept referring to the dance as the moment because I was like, I don't want to spoil it. And we have one friend that's like 6 episodes behind. And we were like talking about the promo and everything in our group chat. And she like watches it today and she's like, oh my goodness, I'm catching up. Like I am catching up right now. So yeah.
I literally texted my friend Kristen and I was like, I'm on the floor about the rookie episode. Like, cause like this week I was not expecting 210 and 211 to come back. But then I was like, I literally texted her like 4 times. I'm like, Chenford dance next week. Chenford dance next week. I'm not even kidding. I'm fully serious.
Did she respond?
She did not. But she liked the thing, so I know she saw it. She's probably like, oh my God, like what the hell? I was having a breakdown.
So she's caught up now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So is she watching it live or no?
No, she didn't watch last night's live. Hopefully I can get her to watch next week. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yes.
Sorry, off topic.
So Emily had said this episode was probably the most intense one of the whole season so far. I mean, it's not DOD that intense, but that's a whole other kind of intense. I mean, even like the rookie, well, ABC, when it ended Idol and started the rookie, it was like for the most intense episode ever. I was like, oh,
yeah,
geez.
like the announcement did that too.
I was like, what are we in for if that's like the segue?
Mm-hmm.
So then Emily also said, speaking of, I was surprised to see the DOD flashbacks in Previously On. It honestly brought back instant feels seeing Tim pull her out of the barrel. It was kind of surreal because we haven't had any concrete callbacks to that this season. And the flashbacks throughout were hard to watch, even though I rewatched that episode. I loved the Nyla. Same. I kind of want to rewatch again, only because I want to see Tim like on his hands and knees finding her.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was so well done.
Yeah.
Like,
Emily also said that she loved the Nyla and James moments and Nyla resting in the hospital. She said, I was like, oh, is she going to have the baby for 1 second? She's so adorable in her comfy maternity wear. And Wesley and restarting his law practice with a bang. One word, hot, in all caps. Emily, same. We're on the same page here.
Yeah.
Wesley just looked different in this episode. I don't know if it was like the different suit or I don't know, but I was like, okay, I'm here. I'm here for lawyer Wesley again.
Mhm.
Emily also said, always nice to see a Brolin takedown once in a while. This episode kind of felt like 312 in a way when everyone was at the hospital and we even got some Tamara fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. She said, can we see where this little meet cute she had with the intern goes, maybe? Was nice to know and see that Lucy shared her trauma with Tamara too, especially since it happened before they met. She also said, I don't know, I may have to rewatch to get a better take, but while the main story was important and I think it was done well, it felt like Lucy's story got cut off in parts. Felt like forever and a day that we revisited her after her watching the barrel video. I like that she was able to give herself grace, but it felt like something was missing between there. I usually try not to be so critical, but I guess it was because it was DOD. The episode meant a lot to me, as I'm sure it did to many. Yeah, it definitely felt like we were missing Lucy a lot. It was like, this is a pretty big story to talk about, and we're just like not covering it.
Yeah, I kind of maybe like well, I hesitate to say because I don't need to see her like processing her
Right.
trauma, like, but just I don't know if that was maybe the missing kind of piece, like in between her watching it and then, coming out of it.
I guess I also kind of needed like a little bit more. Like we had because I tweeted that out. I was like, okay, we have 15 minutes left. Where's Lucy? And then we had like 10 minutes left and there was still no Lucy or something. And I was like,
Yeah, it came in
are
at
we
like
not
50,
gonna
like
respond to it?
yeah, like minute 51, I think. Well,
Yeah.
according to my TV anyway.
Yeah. So then Emily also said she would have loved to see Lucy call Tim in her moments of panic or her show up at his place later for a hug. I can honestly understand why they didn't. There have already been a lot of callbacks to that, but that was what I was imagining in those moments. I'm really surprised my mind went here because I've been kind of indifferent to both love interests so far, and I could never get on board with ideas of Ashley being bad and working with Roslyn. And this was before I saw other people thinking the same. I honestly thought it was a crazy idea, but how did he slip up that badly
Oh, I guess she
in
meant Chris.
the song? Yeah, I was gonna say I
I was
haven't
like,
seen
whoops.
Ashley. I haven't seen Ashley be compared to Roslyn, but I mean that might just be a different part of Twitter that I'm not on. So but she said, how did he slip up that badly and sing the song? It has an eerie connection to Roslyn, taunting her with it in the prison. He also works with Delmonte, who has sort of a connection to Roslyn. I mean, even though I thought it, I don't really want to go there. Don't really want it to go there. If they do that for the finale, I'm a little uneasy about calling back to DOD in such a large way because the episode is so special. It doesn't need a sequel, you know? Plus, if Rosalind comes back, I want it to be organic and well done, not a plot device to push Lucy and Tim together. That I agree with.
Yeah.
It seems to be the obvious choice, but doubt they will because they haven't really been going with the obvious choices. They continue to surprise me. I hope they still do. Anyway, that's my take on the episode. I just spiraled.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that they don't use like a certain plot device to push Tim and Lucy together. Because I don't think that it's really necessary. But
no.
Yeah.
I just hope I just like how she was like, I've kind of been indifferent to both love interests. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. Well, because we haven't seen any of Ashley in so long. Well, okay, not so long, but kind of.
Yeah.
But I mean, she is coming back. I know because Helena posted a couple Instagrams last week as well.
And people are like convinced that Chris is like working with or like connected to Rosalind, and I don't know. I guess I just don't see it. Maybe I'm just naive. I don't know.
I don't see it either though. And I watch like so many like crime things or like dramatic like films and stuff. But yeah, I just don't see it. Like it, I don't know, maybe because like The Rookie is so not so lighthearted, but like has that comedy
Mhm.
aspect to it too. I'm just like, I just can't see like that shocking of a betrayal happening
Yeah.
for Lucy. At least I hope
Yeah.
not.
Like I don't see Chris being a villain, but again, maybe that's just me. And I don't know, after last night, it was kind of like, okay, Chris, that was like a stupid thing to do, but I don't know. I mean, maybe maybe it was just stuck in his head, but like you'd have to watch the video multiple times for it to be stuck in your head, I feel like. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that he had to anyway, just to like get all of the notes. But
Yeah.
I mean, if I was him and watching my girlfriend do that, or even just a girl that I'm seeing, like I wouldn't want to watch that video or
Yeah.
question her about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't, yeah. Like him not being, well, okay, I shouldn't say not being able to, but choosing not to like separate personal, personal connection he obviously has with Lucy versus the professional, like doing his job thing. Like, obviously it got blurred, like so much for them, I mean, they tried to keep it professional, but obviously it got emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I mean, because that was just like the worst thing that he could do. Like, that's worse than the first time when I was like, if he doesn't apologize, I'm not, liking him. Like, I just still can't believe that he did that though, of all the things. So Bonnie said that she's completely soured on Chris. Yeah. And if she were Lucy, he'd have been gone for like she would have broken up with him. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I was kind of surprised that she didn't confront him, but maybe a confrontation will happen later for another reason. I don't know. She can appreciate Lucy dealing with the trauma on her own. It's a big part of Tim's story though too. So she was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get like a call or something. Tamara and the intern were cute. She just never thought that they'd revisit Day of Death again ever. So she was like surprised but like appreciated that they did. But it should have had like more of a spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hospital story was interesting, but like Lucy's storyline, like she said, drastically outperformed that one. Yeah, I mean, honestly, just the way that Melissa like brought it like on screen was just like phenomenal. So
I was trying to think, have they ever had another hostage like case or episode like this? I can't think of anything. Well, I guess the court with like the prisoners. But I mean, I like with the police, with the team as a whole, with the district as a whole, they haven't really.
Yeah.
See, and like those kinds of episodes where this sounds so bad. Those kinds of episodes where like everyone's held hostage, kind of like that, are usually my favorite because like tensions are high and like
it's like high
things
stakes.
happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it could have definitely been like on its own from DOD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She said that Lucy deserved more attention in this episode. It was a good one though. She was kind of questioning like why bring Rosalind up now. Same. Because she said that's like a big thing to do for like a one-off storyline. She's kind of hoping that she'll come back. Yeah, possibly. The promo is interesting too. Yeah, the promo is interesting too, for sure. In regards to Chris, she thinks that he does deserve another chance. They could have given Lucy someone a lot worse. Oh, that's true. She says, and it's pure Lucy to give someone second chances and show compassion.
Yeah.
So who knows if 421 will be the end for them. Yeah. Karen, another user, Karen, kind of didn't really agree though, because it like kind of it bugged her all day. Same. It really like I don't know why it bothered me so much. It just did. She does agree though that Lucy does give second chances and that but she should have let him know how like wrong it was and not just immediately gone off like nothing happened. So she's thinking that maybe she should be having second thoughts about Chris. Maybe she will. I don't know.
I don't know like how I can't think of like how Lucy and Chris would like break up, or Tim and Ashley.
Yeah.
Besides like Lucy just kind of realizing her feelings, but even then I don't know how that would equate to Tim and Ashley breaking up, but
yeah,
maybe they will. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Valerie said, when asked, you know, like, what are your thoughts? She said, I don't know. I'm having a hard time concentrating after that promo for next week. Same. She said, okay, so I appreciated that they mentioned critical stress debriefing, which is a real thing, but I wish they would have explained it a little bit more. I'm sure most people have no idea what it is. I like how they included the honor walk as well, and the rest of that storyline is too overused. As far as like we had it too much. I agree, it didn't need to be like, I don't know, it felt like it was just drawn out, especially them like Angela going back to Gray saying, you know, what we had all heard before. It was like, okay, we already know this. And then like more of the hospital being shut down. I was like, so you mean to tell me that like it wasn't all shut down before? It did kind of seem like it was repetitive in ways.
Yeah.
But
like it reminded me of that one episode, I think season 3, when Nolan was taken hostage in that truck van thing and like handcuffed, and that one guy was getting like sort of getting treatment for like cancer or something.
wasn't that the one that Tim and Lucy were in too? Or no?
You know, I honestly can't remember. I don't know, but that's just kind of where my mind went when you were saying, or when Valerie had said it was overused. Because it was like he was still making demands, even though he didn't have like a lot of cards to play, you know? And I kind of felt like that's what Jonah was doing. Because I was so over him, like making demands.
Yeah.
Even when he's caused like so much pain.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Lydia thought this was an intense episode and the tone worked, both with the serious matter of the heart donor as well as the kidnapping and Lucy's trauma. She thought it was very good to learn a little bit more about how that process goes and that a tragedy can bring life to another person. Yeah. I thought Wesley and Angela had some great moments. They were so like Lopez was good.
Yeah, they were.
So good. They had the fun one in the beginning, and then Wesley standing up for his client was really nice to see. She said Tim and Gray were a bit underused, but a lot was going on, so it's understandable. Yeah.
Gray definitely was, but Tim at least had a role in the hostage thing.
Yeah. The Lucy scenes were amazing. Kudos to Melissa. Tamara's new love interest was cute. She did miss Chenford though, but she has high hopes for the next episode. She was glad that Lucy got to process like her trauma alone instead of with Chris. She has a feeling that Rosalind might be back next season. Oh, there's a idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Could you? Oh my gosh. See, now I'm getting ideas. Now I have ideas.
I mean, I was gonna say, how can she come back though and it be like different in a way? I guess just revisiting her, or maybe she gets out of jail early or something, like overcrowding. Somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, somehow. Because Tamara was like, she's serving 4 consecutive life sentences or something.
Yeah.
I don't really know, but maybe if she had like
Oscar
an
like gets her out.
oh my god. Oh god, could you imagine? Oh my god, what if she like oh man. See, now I'm thinking like what if like two quote unquote villains like teamed up somehow? Oh god.
I thought you were
That
gonna
would
say
be
something different.
no. That would be chaotic
Yeah,
in like a really unfortunate way, I think. I
yeah,
don't know. I'm just thinking like how they could I don't know. I don't know how they could utilize Rosalind again.
yeah. I don't know. And then Jen had said, I love Lucy getting to heal, but for me, the tone was off in the rest of the episode. It felt dark and unnecessarily depressing. I love the episodes with sunshine and lighthearted fam interaction along with crime stopping. Yeah, same. But I also just, I don't know. It's a weird part of me that I just like some of the dark, just
I
intense
watched like
episodes.
I watched so many documentaries and I'm like very, very interested in the like psychology part of
Yeah,
like, what makes people do, like wrong acts. Like
yeah.
it just is like it's so complex and like interesting to me.
I'll rewatch like episodes of another show that we both watched that like our friends can't do. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I do. I
Yep.
guess I just like it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I just like the arc, of like
Yeah.
characters like going through something and then getting themselves like back up that hill to
Yeah.
like get back to normal.
But like if it's an old episode too, like you already know what's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I mean I like the sunshiny episodes too. I feel like we could possibly get that next episode, but then I also feel like there's gonna be a lot of angst before we get that from like Nyla and James and then Chenford and possibly Lopez and Balin. I mean, if next episode is focusing on Nyla and James and Chenford, like my hope is that we throw in Lopez and Balin too and just make it
Yeah.
a ship heavy episode.
Yeah.
It'll be the best one all season long. So
Hopefully, I'm kind of hoping though that it's not like the season 3 finale though, and it was like a literal like 10 minutes or like 5 to 7 minutes of like the wedding or something.
yeah.
Like, I want it to be at least like the last, like, like one commercial and then the rest of the episode is like the
Yeah.
wedding or something.
Or like 15 minutes, last 15
Yeah.
minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like because it's not a season finale, it might not end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But I also can see like Nyla and James. I'm putting this out into the universe again. I can see Nyla and James like deciding that they're not going to get married and just like, just being like, oh, well, this is just still a party. Like everyone
Yeah.
have fun. And that's where the dancing and stuff comes in at. Especially because we know that they were filming at like a church, like last week or something. But we don't know if that's part of a case or something else. But it looks like it could be a wedding. So I don't really see Nyla and James having the church wedding, but I guess I could kind of see it too. So
Yeah. So Janine had sent us her thoughts about the promo. She said, OMG, Badger was in the preview. I didn't even notice that he was in the preview. Okay, I'm so sorry to Greg Grunberg. I did not realize that he was in the promo. I'm terrible. Anyway.
And Chenford wasn't even in that scene.
No. I don't know.
It was Nyla saying, yeah, so I'm engaged now.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me. Nyla's proposal to James, that's the sweetest. And we're finally gonna get our Chenford dance. Yeah.
And we know that it's happening because we saw the twirl. We saw him spin her.
Don't even get me started. Oh my god.
That was like the first thing that you text me in all caps. And I was like, please hold. I am literally just processing through everything.
Well, because I made that like, because like I had coined the term of like Lucy has like a Tim twirl. from like 311 and 314 that she kind of like does the half spin after he's like done
Mhm.
complimenting her, right? But then it's like an actual like twirl.
Yeah.
I'm just having a time. Yeah. I told you I was having a meltdown. I'm having a meltdown, guys. It's fine. It's fine. Janine liked this episode but had a few like mixed reviews. She said the beginning was heart-wrenching. And it was sad that that we had Lucy having to give her statement and go over everything for the trial. She found it very ironic that Tim was not involved in one of the biggest storylines that really made people believe that there was more to Tim and Lucy's relationship. Yeah, that's kind of fair when you put it that way. Yeah, because it was like a pivotal moment for them. Yeah, Janine said his Chris's attitude seemed very harsh and like it was him being like insensitive, and it was making her think that he was like kind of a villain or a villainous character. But she just thinks that was like is just him being stupid. Lucy saw the video for the first time, which through her, she thought that she had already seen it. Yeah, I kind of just assumed that she had watched it. I
Yeah.
don't know. Did you assume that?
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just kind of assumed that she had watched it or
Yeah.
yeah.
Because especially in 301, Janine said when Rosalind confronted her about it, and like about the video and sang the song, and that, you know, Tim was her fierce protector. Yeah. Lucy's a badass though, and she doesn't need protection. But the fact that Tim stuck up for her in 301, it would have been nice to have him there for her, or to like call him and let him know what happened. She thinks that Lucy forgave Chris too easily, but Janine said that she was proud that Lucy realized that she didn't need to testify to prove anything. Yeah. Like I said, it was just a nice moment for her to like just realize that like she can handle it.
Right.
And, like, go on. Tim and John and Angela working together was great. She loved listening to how Tim was like giving comforting advice to John after the fatal car crash, and she believes that he like respects him like more and more as like their interactions continue. Yeah, because Tim was like, remember the first time when they were paired up, and he was like, that was the episode when John was like, who goes first? And Tim's like, I do. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't want him to get a word in. Like, he was very like, you're gonna shut up and listen.
Yep.
Or no, you know what? It was the earthquake episode. I'm dumb. Sorry, that was
Yeah, that's
212.
right.
The earthquake episode. Yeah.
Joel McHale.
Yeah. Tim was very much like, shut up, you're gonna listen to me.
Yeah.
Because he was running down the things that you do for like when you're protecting a witness. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. They have come a long way. They really have.
Tim in general has come a long way though.
Oh yeah, like you want like award for best character development, like
Yeah.
Tim.
Yep.
Tim. Yeah, for sure. Can Nyla and James be any cuter? No, they can't. One thing that that we didn't get to know is the baby okay? Oh my god, Janine's like, we know her prostate is. God. Yeah. She loves how Nyla jumps in no matter the circumstances to protect like innocent people. And the biggest shocker was the guy who disrupted and corrupted the hospital computers was not working alone. Yeah, I was like, wait, what? They're throwing in another twist? Like, he has partners that locked him out of the system? Like, I was like, Really?
Yep.
Really? Yeah. So those were Janine's thoughts.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you've made it to the end of this episode, like,
Really long.
congrats, because I feel like it's been so long. But yeah, there was just a lot to cover this week. And next week, I have no doubt that there's going to be a lot more to cover.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you guys can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk Pod _ or email us at shoptalktherookiepodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts. You can find us individually on Twitter as well. I'm at jstarkate04.
And I'm at Carrie Hyman.
And we're going to be celebrating the week, just, celebrating a year of Shop Talk. We've got a TeePublic store. I've come up with a few new shirt ideas. I just need to design them. But yeah, so in the meantime, you can find us on Twitter, just clowning around over Chenford.
Literally, that's probably all I will be tweeting about.
Literally, I have no shame. So, I mean, within the first hour of the episode being done, people had already gifted, so that it was the 314, Chen Sabian dance and the promo. We haven't even seen the episode yet, and we're just clowns.
Yeah. Tumblr works quickly.
But yeah. Once again, thank you so much for all of your support. We couldn't do this without you. And we'll be back next week to discuss 418, aka the Chenford episode of it all. So, bye everyone.
Bye guys.
Go get him, boo.